Welcome to SolFul Connections, where we skip the small talk and head right into the soul talk. I'm Amanda Soler, and each week we share the kinds of stories that remind us we're not alone. It's about being human, raw and unfiltered, just real talk. Let's connect.
Connection. Let's talk about connection. Let's talk about connection. Let's talk about it.
Okay. So today I have, I don't know, maybe one of the most special podcast guests that I have had thus far. He's really a hard get. He has refused most of the time to come on my podcast, but my invitation comes with the promise that I will listen to him talk about plumbing, which is something I don't do regularly. So I think that finally did it. That was like the big carrot that he couldn't resist, or maybe it's just because I cajoled, pleaded, begged, threatened. Anyway, all of that being said, today I have Victor Soler, owner of Soler Plumbing LLC, and even more exciting for him, my husband and the father of my children. Welcome to the podcast, Victor Soler.
Hey, okay. What do you have? What did you get me involved with today? I don't like this stuff.
He doesn't like the stuff. How are we even married when I love this stuff? So Victor, today we're going to talk about plumbing for the most part.
Mhm.
So you have been a plumber for many, many years, but you started your own plumbing firm in when was it? September 2020?
Officially September of 2023.
Okay. You would think I would know. But anyway, so let me just ask you how that has been. You've been working 4 years for other firms and now you're your own boss. What's that like?
That's good. I mean, it's got its up and down. More than anything, it's got its ups. There's a lot of positive. I wish I had done it. And I know everybody says this a little earlier, maybe. But I guess I wasn't ready then. But for the most part, a lot of my customers I've had for years. So it's, I had them for many, many years, loyal customers. So I've always been doing plumbing. I guess when I worked for other outfits, plumbing outfits, I always did a lot of plumbing in the side. And, so that was a built-in kind of customer.
Yeah, I mean, you have that skill, and when people know you're a plumber, they do call you on the weekends, and
Yep.
yeah, you've been that person. I think that was a great way to start a business, already having built-in clients,
Exactly. That actually helped. But I also have people out there spreading my name, giving, testimonials and all that stuff on a constant, which I appreciate so much. I don't even know if they even know how much I appreciate that stuff. But yeah, loyal people.
Yeah. So
Plumbing, the question was, how do I like it? The business or plumbing? Plumbing I've always liked. Believe it or not, I'm one of those guys that like working with my hands. So I've always liked that part. The business I'm still kind of learning.
what would you say is like a plumbing superpower? Something about you specifically as a plumber that is a characteristic of you?
I don't know if I even like the word superpower. It sounds weird, but in what I'm about to answer, I think just the experience. And I tell people every day, I am learning still to this day. I'm learning how to do plumbing. I've been doing it for 40 plus years, believe it or not. And I maybe that the experience, because I see a lot of guys in the field that are a lot younger than me, especially when I was doing a lot of commercial work, that are where I was when I was their age, you know. So basically, what separates me, if that is what you're trying to say, from the other person, um, is probably experience. And again, like I said, I'm learning every day, and you'll continue to learn. But things like that,
Yeah.
you know. And I've also seen other people's work, and then they've seen mine. But I I go to customers. I said, this wasn't a professional that did this. I can tell. And they go, no, it was. And I go, are you kidding me? But
Yeah.
okay, yeah, whatever. That,
Well,
but the superpower would be the experience. What separates
yeah.
me from the other person? That's all.
You want to know what I think it is?
Mhm. Go ahead.
I think it's the experience because you have been doing it for a long time. I mean, I think you've even started as a boy, but I think it's also you're really direct. You're really honest. You
Okay.
will tell people the truth. And I think the other thing is that you have always helped people to save money. You're not going to say, hey, you need a new water heater if you can save the life of the water heater. You really are, I think, very authentic, very honest, very direct. You're skilled. I mean, you're not like cheap. That's why we always say affordable. You're affordable, but you are experienced. You have honed your skills. And, you know, if somebody wants to cut corners, you're probably not their guy because you're going to do it right and you take pride in your work, but you'll be very honest about, you know, what the cost is and how they can save money if there's a possibility that they can save money. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely, spoken like a true wife. Yes, it. All those and above. Yeah, that you're right. I'm not going to cut corners. I'm going to tell you what needs to be done, what needs to be brought up to code. There are times when you will pay for the hours, and I'll let you know that up front. But for the most part, with me, it's just the job itself. Um, and in today's world, they've made tools for our profession to get the job done in a fraction of the time that it used to take before. You know, the cast iron and the pouring lead and putting oakum in the pipes and all that for drainage. That's your grandfather's plumbing. You know, that doesn't happen anymore. Um, you know, you're going to change it out to PVC plastic. You're going to use glue. You're not going to, you know, melt lead and all that stuff to join two pieces of pipe together, or fittings, whatever. So yeah, I get the work done real fast.
But the equipment is an investment, a very large investment.
Yes, it
So,
is.
you know, if you have the right equipment, it can save time as well, but that equipment costs money. So you're licensed, you're insured. There's a lot of things that people don't fully understand. And having said all of that, honestly, your prices are really competitive. So,
Absolutely.
you know, okay, Victor, what is the weirdest thing that you've ever pulled out of a drain?
The weirdest things, not so much a drain. To be honest with you, I'm a plumber that hates to do drain cleaning, believe it or not. And I also think that drain cleaning is its own profession. And if you look at it, it has like the famous Roto-Rooter. All they do is basically clean drains. They do other things too, but for the most part, that's what they market themselves. So I kind of separate the two. But your question, it's not so much a drain. I've done HVAC in plumbing as well. I've worked for HVAC companies and done, you know, things with heating systems and stuff like that. So it would be more of duct work, you know, pulling things out of, like, the strangest thing was a petrified, I guess at that point, or it was a bird. It was a blackbird.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was just, it looked like it was mounted and stuffed. Like you can keep it to
wow.
exhibit. You know what I mean? Because it was stuck in a state of like the mouth was open. So I guess it was asking for like oxygen.
Oh, that's the saddest story.
Yeah, it was just, it was sad, and it
Yeah.
scared the bejesus out of me. It scared me. When I cleaned that, what was it? It was a was a boiler hooked up, something or another. I was doing a cleaning for it, annual cleaning, and it just came through. But you see like squirrels, birds, things like that. But yeah, that scared me. Out of the actual plumbing system, like cleaning a drain, it's basically not, roots from a tree can get pretty crazy looking. But more than that is, what do you call those things? The wipes
Oh, right.
and that stuff. A rag. I've pulled a rag out of the, what do you call it too? I don't know how they got that down there, but basically the wipes. And I'll explain to them not to do that. And a few weeks later, another ball of wipes, and they'll show me. They'll actually bring out the wipes that they use that says flushable on the container,
Mm-hmm.
and I go, well, not really. You can see
Yeah.
still here they don't dissolve. I can't comprehend how anyone will throw anything down a drainage. It's just not the right thing to do. And I tell them, your plumbing system is not even, it's not that new. Pretty compromised as it is because of the age. So you're just adding to it. But yeah, no, it was the bird more and like the duckworth.
Yeah. Oh, poor
Putting it-
bird.
Yeah, it's stuff. Animals scare
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Um, so Victor, how does it feel, when you've done a successful job, when you're leaving the house better than you found it?
Yeah. Okay. That's a good question. First of all, people are relieved, whether I was there for leak, whether I was there for drainage cleaning, whether I was there for whatever in plumbing, just to put a faucet in, whatever. They're much happier and they're relieved that, hey, this part is taken care of. Now I can move on with my everyday. I notice I'll use electricity. Whenever we don't have the values, or is that the word I'm looking for? The modern, what's the word I'm looking for? The use of
Like
modern.
whenever we don't have, I guess, the things that we take for granted in life.
Yeah, for everyday life. In our house, man, do we miss it? Well, this one we're talking in plumbing, and let me tell you something. There's nothing worse than you can't flush that toilet because it'll overflow, or I can't turn on that sink because it's dripping. I have to wait for the plumber. So it feels great when I take care of it, and the customer loves it. When I get them back in the, in working order, so to speak, where they can, use their modern, everyday, taken for granted utilities. So it feels good. It feels good to have that taken care of. They say thank you.
Victor, let's just go on to ask questions about me. Since I have you here. Okay, let's just ask random questions. Who is more likely to leave dishes in the sink, you or me?
You.
That
Mhm.
is true. I can't lie. What about, oh, do you remember this? You might not remember this.
But
Who said I love you first?
me.
You did.
Mhm.
How did you know that?
I think I
Do
actually
you
remembered
remember
it.
it?
Was
Yeah.
that in
But
South Street?
I don't know if that's when you said it. You said it like before I think we were even dating, honestly, when we were
Okay.
friends, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I'll answer some of these too. These are just random questions I just pulled out. Um, what, how has your partner changed over the years?
How has what?
Your partner, that would be me. That's what the question says.
Well, you were talking
How
about I
has your
had a partner in plumbing, and I was like, wait a minute. I only subcontract people. I don't have a partner.
So how have I changed over the years?
uh,
You want me to
you've
answer
always, since the
first?
day I met you, Amanda, you've always been the person that I knew I wanted to settle down with. I've told you this before. I don't think I was necessarily maybe I was subconsciously. I don't know, but I don't think I was looking for like a steady girlfriend or anything like that. I just come back from California, living there for a couple years. Got a job in Macy's at the time where you were working. I think you were going to college and during your off time working in cosmetics, and that's where I met you through a mutual friend of ours by the name of Rick. He introduced me to you, and when I saw you, I was like, "Wow, she is beautiful." And I also got to know you, which was even better because I'm like, okay, if I am gonna ever settle down and have kids, I want them to be raised like her, like she was raised. Because I don't know, when I thought that it was a few months into dating you, but I had gotten to know you and gotten to know your parents by that point. And the way you were raised and the things you're so authentic. You're smart as all hell. You were beautiful. You were caring. You never, how can I put this, Amanda? You never, I don't think you saw color. So you know, you never showed me one bit of prejudice or races or just anything like that. It was so like, is this girl real? I mean, is this the way she acts every day? Is this her beliefs? Is this so? It was just the proper thing. And of course, I was attracted to you because you were beautiful. To this day, one of my nieces, my sister's daughter, um, always brings up the story where she told her mom, my sister, I can't believe Victor is dating a live action Barbie doll. You know, like she goes, I had Barbies that look just like Amanda. But that's not, yes, the attractiveness was there for those who think that Barbie is attractive. It's funny because I didn't think of it that way. But it was more of getting to know you is when I really fell in love with you. Like I said, the way your parents did a great job in raising you. And, you know, what is your religion? Then that's the one I'm going to be. Because that's the one that you know, we go to church and stuff like that. When we had our kids and hey, let's raise them just like Amanda. And that was it. I mean, you know,
Well, I
we
have to
talked about
say,
this.
that's the best answer that you, all I said was, how has your partner changed? But let me tell you something. I think that is
And
like
you've changed
the
and you've
best
never,
answer.
I don't know if you changed.
I love
Like
that
it's
answer.
always the consistency. It's real. What you see is what you get with Amanda. That is Amanda 24/7. And I can hold a conversation with Amanda with the intelligence, and she teaches me things every day. You know, and she says that I teach her things, but I don't know.
You do.
But, okay.
Well, thank you. That was really stunning and beautiful. I appreciate it. I will have to have a podcast conversation like once a week so I can hear all of these glowing things. I
It's
appreciate
true.
that, Victor.
And your humor, I've gotten used to it. In the beginning, I used to be like, "Is this girl crazy?" But then I got used to your humor. You're always the sarcasm.
Yeah,
You're overflowing with that.
that's
Okay.
true. Yeah. I think humor is like one of those things in life that is underrated. I think that humor is how you get through life's heavier moments
Yeah.
because face it,
With
life does have moments.
with you, the things that make me laugh are I don't even know how to explain it. Are the natural things, the things that I don't know. I'll start laughing. You go, "You laughing at me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's not at you. It's more of what you said or the way you said it
Yeah.
that makes me laugh." If they can understand that, I guess you
No,
have to.
that's the same for you. Like
Yeah,
with me.
it's like it's not even when you're trying to be funny.
Yeah.
For me,
I
it's
think our
when you're
humor is
just natural.
different. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like the things that make you laugh when it's like a comedian or
Right.
you know, there we find different things funny, which is so
Right.
interesting because I had so many friends and I have so many friends that our humor is the same. You
Right.
and I, we don't have the same humor, but we find each other funny mostly when we're not trying to be funny.
Right.
And
Right.
then when we're trying to be funny, we're just gonna look at each other like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
right?
Yep.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So speaking of that, because that just made me think of like the things that you find funny.
I don't even know if I even answered your question, but okay.
Well, I just love the answer. So, what about like your favorite show? What is your like all-time favorite television show?
You know that.
Oh, I do.
It's a show that I watch with my family, especially my father. Especially my father, more my father than anything. He used to always watch it with us, the boys in the house, and the girls as well. But it's Sanford and Son, and I think he's one of my favorite. Red Fox would be one of my favorite comedians of all time. But there are some comedians out there that are very, very funny. But that was the humor. If How can I put this? My dad was Red Fox, but only in Spanish.
Oh, I love
That's my father. If you look at Red Fox, it was a combination between. Nah, I better not say the other person, but
Well, it's just
yeah,
funny because when you say that, because when I see your dad, he's like so handsome and
yeah,
like I thought he had like an elegance. I wouldn't have seen like Fred Sanford, you know?
yeah, I know, but he was the Red Fox in
Mm-hmm.
the house, and he would laugh at Red Fox. He would laugh, 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 and so would we on the Sanford and Son show. So it's my all-time favorite show. But then
Yeah.
there's like Taxi that I love, the show Taxi. Uh, the one with Michael J. Fox. What was that called? That was probably the last show that our
I think it
family,
was like
all
family. Was that Family Ties?
family ties. That believe it or not, and it goes with it. That family, as I know the before I moved, officially out of the house and everything, that we watched together. That was probably the last show. But there's so many sitcoms out there that we really liked,
Yeah.
that I liked. But Red Fox was my all-time favorite sitcom. Is that what you asked me? Was my favorite sitcom?
I actually asked your favorite show, and I was thinking of Sanford and Son, but then when the words left my lips, favorite show, I thought of another show that I know is your like, you think it's the best show,
Which one is that?
Breaking Bad.
Oh, that's
I mean, it's not a
yeah. That's
sitcom, but when I said
no,
favorite
it's not a
show,
sitcom. Yeah, that's my all-time favorite show. That came on as of recently. Yeah, and would that be considered a show or a people binge that? So what was
yeah,
that?
but
What was
it
that
is a
considered?
show. It's a
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
What did you like about it, Victor?
Which one?
Breaking Bad.
Well, people were telling me, Victor, you gotta check out Breaking Bad. And I would say, yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that. This is when it officially was like running its first time. Then I remember listening to my sports talk, and some of the sports announcers on sports talk, WIP, whatever, would always talk about it. Oh, tonight's it's going to be about blah blah, and without trying to spoil or whatever. And I'm like, so when the guy at work, going back to him, there were quite a few of them, but I said, what is this show about? I don't even know if I even like the name. And he told me about the show. I go, wait, a chemistry teacher? Wait, what? How did this show? This is on TV? A chemistry teacher stops teaching. He has cancer. So he decides to cook meth, you know, illegally, obviously, with a student of his. I go, how does that? Who even greenlight that show? It doesn't even sound like something that should be on TV. And what is so? Forward that to one of the times I was in between jobs. I had just left one job to go to another job. They had laid off, whatever. I think I turned it on, like I couldn't go to sleep this one night. So I watched it, and right from the beginning, it got me literally. It was weird, but it got me to the point where I think it was like 2 in the morning. I couldn't go to sleep. And I started seeing the sun coming up like 6 in the morning, and I still was watching show after show because they, as you're finishing one, they show you, hey, tap on this, and we can bring you the next show. And I said, wow, what was I just looking at? So it was the acting, it was the plot, which I thought was the most the craziest thing to begin with. You know, like I said, a chemistry teacher becomes the meth king, basically. And then I started doing a little research on it, come to find out that this was based loosely on a real life story, you know, and then I get to see what that guy was doing and how the creator, Vince Gilligan, along with his other team of people, really got the show from a news clipping, I think. It just got me. The acting, everything, it looked so real. Where it wasn't in Hollywood. I think 90% of that show was in Albuquerque on location. Just everything about it was good. I loved it. But yeah, that's a great show.
Yeah, meanwhile, I won't even watch it with you, right?
You won't watch it. I've been trying to get you to watch it. You're probably thinking like I thought when the guys told me, yeah, you
Well, I
should
saw
watch
two
it.
of them.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw them completely. I don't think you saw it completely, and I don't think you gave it enough time, but I know for me it was. But then I told my brother, by the way, hey, have you ever heard of the show Breaking Bad? I said, listen, you know I don't usually do this. You know I'll do this with football, Eagles, Phillies, whatever. But you got to watch, you know, whether it's a documentary or whatever. I said, you got to watch this show and just give it the first one, the pilot. My brother was texting me the next day, wow, Vic, this show is incredible. The story, the acting, the realism to it, the everything about it.
What about music? Like, do you have a favorite musician or
Too hard for that. Yeah, I love music. That's just too hard. I got favorite bands. Queen would probably be my favorite rock band, but then I go from Queen to Barry Manilow, from Barry Manilow to what's his name? I knew a man.
Sammy Davis Jr.
From Sammy Davis Jr. to it just goes all over the place. So music's too hard for me. So
Yeah, you love music.
I love music. I don't care the genre and the era. You know, Elvis Presley to Rolling Stones. Even rap music. I love rap music. You know, some rap music, especially early hip hop. But it's too hard to pick one band, one person. But I do love music, and I do love the knowledge of music. I was one of those kids that used to get Rolling Stone magazine sent to my house, and I used to read every article, you know.
Yep.
So if you want to battle me with trivia from the 80s on 80s rock or 80s pop or 80s whatever, I'll go. I know a lot.
You win.
Not necessarily. I'm not saying that I'm going to win, but I'll stick in there for a while.
Yeah. Well, when I met you, you were listening. Well, again, you listen to everything. There's not really a song.
If I'm making spaghetti, and you know this, if I'm making spaghetti on the weekend, you know, whatever, I'll pour my glass of wine. I'll put, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Puccini.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like I'm in an Italian restaurant. You know, it's just, I'll listen to anything. Mozart, it's just the mood that I'm in. I will listen to disco, everything. Taylor Swift, I was listening to some of her stuff recently. Can you believe that? But
No.
I will listen. And I like a lot of her music. You know, the artist is what I'm trying to say is creative. You know, they really are. You know, recently Ozzy passed away. And I remember as a kid watching my fellow students or friends or whatever writing the name Ozzy on their notebooks, Van Halen or whatever they would write on the. And I go, who doesn't like that Ozzy song? You know, the one that they've been singing.
Coming home or whatever.
Yeah, I'm coming home. Or even the heavier stuff like AC/DC, Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I even have their live CD. But anyway,
and I mean, I remember you always loving like the old Gamble and Huff stuff.
Gamble and Huff. I grew up in Philly. I love reggae. For you to ask me what's my favorite, too hard. And it's funny because on the weekend, I'll send song of the day to my brothers. I'll text it to my brother. I don't even know if they like me doing that, but I do. And my friends. But it's what I'm listening to. I'll listen to anything.
Well, speaking of your brothers, like what was it like growing up in such a big family? You have so many brothers and sisters. Um, what do you think about that? Like what was that like?
Um, it was great. It was great growing up in a big family. I thought everybody had a big family like that growing up, to be honest with you. But it's more where I grew up. And it's in Philadelphia. It was where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
North Philadelphia, to be exact. You can pay me to go back and drive through the neighborhood right now, but I do love Philadelphia for the memories and growing up with my brothers and sisters. It was great. We've always had like a built-in baseball team because it was all of us, you know. And we would go out in the streets, play football, baseball on the weekends. Growing up, you know, we would hop. Hey, let's go to a Phillies game. Walk over a few blocks, get on the subway, take the subway to Patterson Avenue, get off. I think tickets were 50 cents at the time, all the way in the nosebleeds at the vet. My mom would feed us, and hey, we're going to the game today. We would go to the parks. We would play out in the street. We just hung out,
Yeah.
do whatever we, you know, did out in the street. You know, my sisters would be doing the double dutch or the hopscotch or whatever. But it was one of those neighborhoods that everybody looked after you and made sure that you were in line with what you're supposed to be doing. If not, they had the authority to scold you or to teach you, just like if my parents were there. But my mom and dad, you know, I think they did a pretty good job with us.
Yeah. You know, also speaking of your mom and your dad, I don't know, it's hard to answer from the inside looking out, but how did being Puerto Rican influence you? Did you recognize, oh, I'm Puerto Rican, not everybody is, or did
Yeah.
that play a role?
Yeah, I recognize, or what's the word that I'm looking for when I say I identified. That's the word I was looking for. So it's I don't know. It was more of I had identified as of Spanish descent because I never went to Puerto Rico when I was little. There was too many of us. My parents always did, and that's when we got the party in the house. But that's besides the point. But I identified as being of Spanish descent and born in America, and you know, the United States, even though Puerto Rico's part a Commonwealth.
But you were speaking Spanish and English in the house. You were eating cheesesteaks and rice and beans, so it was kind of a blend of.
Yep, it was a blend. My dad always wanted his Puerto Rican traditional dishes to the point where I would be like, Dad, how can you do that every day? And I come to love it now that I'm older and really miss it sometimes when it's not around. But yeah, no, it was just because of the friends I was hanging out with, whatever. Yeah, we'd go run and grab a cheesesteak or, you know, pizza, whatever. But I knew when I got home who I was as far as nationality and but I also thought that just like I thought that everybody had large families growing up, I thought everybody had a little Puerto Rican in them. I thought we all knew a little bit of Spanish. Because let's face it, we're made up of tons of people.
Yeah, I know.
I never really. My mom.
You weren't really conscious about it. You just
no, I didn't talk to my brothers and sisters in Spanish. I didn't. It was my mom and my dad I talked to in Spanish.
right.
More my mom because she never really learned how to speak English, but she understood it. But my dad knew how to speak English, you know.
Right.
My mom chose not to learn, I guess. She did not want to lose her roots from where she came from, whatever. But it was just normal. It was normal. In fact, I tell the story a lot. I didn't even know when I was talking Spanish if I talked to like Spanish with somebody, because it was more like I was talking, if I'd seen another Puerto Rican or whatever, I was talking to them in English, but every once in a while a Spanish word would come out, or vice versa. I was talking in Spanish, and every once in a while as I'm saying the sentence or whatever, an English word or a word in English would come out.
Yeah.
But I didn't until somebody brought it to my attention. I don't even know if do I do it now. I don't think I do it. Right? Do I?
Not unless we're in Puerto Rico.
Oh, we're in Puerto Rico, so I'm talking to them in Spanish and English words come out.
Yeah. Or
Okay,
to
see,
people. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I mean, and by the way, I think that one of the things that I've heard you say, and it really touches my heart, is that when we are in Puerto Rico,
Uh-huh.
you feel a sense of like understanding and closeness to your parents and understanding more about who they
Oh yeah, a
were.
lot of a lot of growing up. My dad. Can I tell the story or not?
Sure.
My dad. I didn't understand this at all. But okay, so a summer that we wanted to paint the outside of the house. My dad would go, "Don't you think, we should really paint the house like a pink or a yellow?" And I go, "Is this guy playing around? Like, what is he talk? I don't even understand where he's talking." No, it would look beautiful, and then maybe we should get our neighbors to paint theirs like a light sky blue, and then maybe the other one to paint it like an aqua. And like I go, "Dad, what are you talking about? We live in North Philly. There's no way that we're gonna have our I thought white would maybe battleship gray for the porch, would look nice." So I start like whining to my mom. I'm not gonna go with him. They didn't have Home Depot back then. They had two guys and like Heckingers or something. And I would say, "There's no way I'm going to any what do you call it to get paint the paint store to get paint the color that he's talking about." Now, roll that till when I'm older and I start going to Puerto Rico and I see the coral houses next to the yellow house and the way they have it painted. It is gorgeous in the island, but
Mhm.
not in North Philly. And I didn't
Right.
understand that because another example would be and then I come, "Oh, this is what my dad saw." But another example would be and my dad was pretty good at fixing houses and stuff like that. So when we were doing like the kitchen or whatever, you know, we're putting up cabinets and he's like, "We really should make these walls out of like cement." Like, I go, "Well, Dad, what's wrong with drywall?" No, and I didn't understand what my dad was doing, or like the floor should be tile rather than wood. Go to the islands, and now I
Mhm.
get it. I get why they have the tile floors for like when hurricanes come through in the water. It's better for if you have wood, it'll rot, or the hurricanes trying to get through and knock down your house. Where if it's a
Yeah.
cement solid wall, it doesn't knock over. But we're in North Philly, Dad. We're nowhere near Puerto Rico. But I guess that's the way he was trying to do it, and I've talked to you about this, Amanda. I go,
Yeah.
this is what my dad was meant when he said, "Let's do cinder block walls," or,
Yeah.
it's an island thing. I didn't understand it when I was a kid at all. So yeah, it's nice to go to the islands and see these things and kind of like get that memory back of, "Oh my gosh, I wish," because I was stern. I was like, "Dad, no, we're not doing that. What are you
Mhm.
talking? Like, what kind of person are you?" And I would used to have like these battles with him, but I can only picture, my friends coming up to this house. Hey, this either like talk about John Mellencamp, a great artist that I love. Little pink houses. Like, what the hell? No, Dad, that ain't happening. There is
Right.
no way. But I didn't know. It was funny.
So, what are you? Here we are. We're in a totally different space than we have been for our lives, right? We're both self-employed. Um,
Yeah.
you have been doing such a beautiful job. I mean, I really admire how you've led your plumbing business and how hard you work and how seriously you take the concerns of your clients. And I really admire it, Victor. Um, so here we are. What are you excited about in the future?
Well, with business. hopefully, helping my clients see their visions with renovations, bathrooms, kitchens, um, and just helping them with just everyday services too, your plumbing services. As far as family, watching the kids grow, yep, absolutely. Looking at them, start their careers and memories, more traveling. We've always traveled with our kids. Um, and in the real world, it's either they're going to school, then they go play with their, hang out with their friends, or they're going to a movie or a football game, or just you tend to, okay, I raised them, but I still want to talk to her, or play games like we used to do as a family. And then we used to sit down more at the dinner table, and now they're kind of like all individuals. They're working, so you don't get to see them as much. Then the day goes by so fast. It's nighttime, back to sleep, and then the same rut again. So when I have them in traveling, when we travel, they wake up in the same house that we're in. Then, hey, what are we going to go do today? Whether it's going to a beach, whether it's going to shop, whether it's going to go to a nice restaurant or whatever. I like that I have them for that whole week,
Mm-hmm.
and they have me, whether it's good or bad.
Right.
But that's what I like. It's the whole week I have them for that whole, and memories. We're building memories as we have always in traveling.
Well, Victor, I really appreciate you coming on to this podcast because I do know that it is not your favorite thing to do. I maybe I'll leave you alone for like 5 years. You don't have to come on for 5 years unless you want to. Um,
No, you do your thing, I do my thing, and we both love each other. But I think that's what makes it work.
I do
But
too. I do.
like I said, you do your thing well, though. By the way, I should say that.
Thank
I
you.
I don't do this kind of stuff well. I
Yeah.
just
Well, nobody wants me like under their sink. That's for darn sure.
if we're talking sports, if we're talking entertainment, some entertainment, music and stuff like that. If we're talking plumbing, we can talk. But if
Yeah.
you're talking like podcasts and stuff like that, I just go. You might want to talk to my wife.
Well, that's perfect. I mean, we have been together. We started dating in 1987 and it is now 2025. So we've made it work. Hey, one last thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if you'll know the answer to this. What
that's
do you
happening.
think is the way that we've made it work for all those years? Like people are on their fourth marriage by now. How have we done it, Victor?
I don't know. I think we're just us.
Yeah.
You're you. You don't put up pretenses. I'm me. It is what it is. You either like me or you don't. And guess what? I don't know if I really even care because I'm not married to you. You're not. I mean, if you do like me, that's great. I like you
Yeah.
too. But if you don't, I don't think I'm going to change.
Yep. Anyway, Victor, I love you. I really am so proud of what you've been doing with solar plumbing and just being a person who really loves his family. Of course, we have our ups and our downs. We're very strong-willed and opinionated, but we are rooted to family and one another. And I like doing life with you. Even though you're very limited in your podcast guest appearances, I still love um, living life with you. And yeah, I guess we'll keep doing it.
Love you too, babe. We'll continue on. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. Thank you for being a valued part of the Soulful community. Thank you to William Aronson for writing, recording, and producing the SolFul Connections theme song. And finally, always know you're not alone. We are connected. We're all in this thing together, and you and your story are important. Let's just keep on connecting.